But I'm going to ask the People's Champ a couple of questions. Number one, what went wrong in Game 7? I guess the shorter question would be what went right and who's to blame. Also, now that you've had some time to reflect, how do you feel about the overall success of the season for the organization? And what say you?
Huh? Oh, Sam Merrill just hit another three. I'm sorry.
Yes, I know. It felt like the Sam Merrill show, among other things, in Game 7. But
God. Yeah, that was tough to watch.
Yep, it was. Unfortunately, I was in the building.
Jeez.
I know. Couldn't turn the channel.
Oh, I'd have do, man. I don't know how you sat through that. Oh, man. It was, I guess being removed from it now for a couple of days, I've calmed down some, but a lot of my thoughts are pretty much the same in terms of the biggest disappointment to me in terms of just Game 7 on its face was how they came out.
Yep.
I couldn't understand it. I still don't. That was so confusing and frustrating to watch, because if you watch that first quarter, if they could have just not turned the ball over after forcing a turnover or convert a layup, off a turnover, we should have easily been up in that first quarter.
Yeah.
Like that first 4 to 6 minutes of that first quarter where, I think we might have been up maybe like 4 to 6. And I think we got like back-to-back turnovers and we squandered both of them.
Yeah.
And Cleveland was able to convert. It was that, and then when Sasser hit the three, where we thought would end the first quarter to cut it to 6, but then Mitchell hit the half-court three to put it to 9.
Yeah.
I kind of felt that was it.
Yeah, I mean, no, listen, it was.
I kind of felt that was, and the reason why.
In retrospect, I think.
And the reason why, and not to be hyperbolic, but the reason why, because I had the same feeling watching them come out for that Game 7 that I did watching them come out in Game 1 against Orlando.
Yep.
It was like, who the hell are these guys?
Yep.
Like, don't they realize the playoffs has started? Like, why are they waiting to rev up? Or like, what altitude are they waiting to get to, to turn the thrusters on, so to speak? And I had that same feeling in the beginning of Game 7.
Yeah.
But it went away because to me, I saw that the thrust or the boost, it wasn't coming.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't there. I mean, Cade Cunningham, you could see. I mean, what is there to diagnose? He shot the ball 16 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The tank was empty.
Yep.
There was nothing left. Like, we got to remember the guy came back a few weeks early from a collapsed lung and led the playoffs in minutes.
Yep.
So he probably had nothing left. So that was really the tough part for me. Then everything else that kind of came with it, is just the typical traits of an unraveling. Just effort, missed shots, bad body language. The whole shebang. It was just just a cascade of horrors, pretty much, for that entire game. Now, what was the second part?
The overall, after you've had some time to reflect, how do you feel about the overall success of the season for the organization?
Well, again, I thought that we are definitely ahead of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So that is definitely a good thing. You can never poo-poo a 60-win season.
Sure.
In retrospect, I mean, you kind of have to acknowledge that, okay, effort and defense and being consistent and preparation that can garner you success.
Sure.
In the regular season, but there is a different level when it comes to the playoffs.
Yep.
even if you've been there, because there was a different expectation with us going into the playoffs this year versus last year. Last year was kind of the more so, we're happy to be here. This year, maybe they thought they kind of had to prove or, validate the number one overall seed.
Sure.
But, I just think the way that they came out game 1 and game 7 shows that they just didn't have that, the mental fortitude yet. It's just uncharted water for them. But the season, I think it was a success. You found out that you have a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham's a superstar.
Yeah. Top 5 player in the league.
Yeah, I would say 5 to 7. Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
He's a superstar.
Sure.
Asar Thompson is can be, in that discussion of one of those type of defensive players when you're talking Draymond, Wallace, Rodman, Artest.
Yeah,
Bowen.
as it is, he's an elite defender.
I'm talking about when it's over. Like, he'll have everything that comes with with what we see. And those are two things that when you're trying to build a championship that you need.
Sure, I agree.
You have a guy, a singular guy that you can build around, and then you also have a defensive tone setter that's just, generational possibly.
Absolutely.
So you've identified that. You've identified that you have a coach that can instill a culture.
Yep.
And cultivate it. So that's good. But now we have to transition into the feel-good story to like a real contender.
Sure.
So that's where we're at. But I think the season was a success. How it ended, disappointing, yes.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
to call it anything other than a successful season, to me, I think is a bit hyperbolic.
Yep.
Yeah, it's undoubtedly – the season was undoubtedly a success. Like, if I told you going into the season that the Pistons will make it to the second round and force a Game 7, you would have been happy.
Yep.
I think the feelings behind it are just a result of what has happened over the past 2.5 to 3 years just in the city in general when it comes to sports.
Sure.
So from the 2023 Lions getting all the way to the NFC Championship game and then losing. And then the year after that, you had the Tigers who looked dead come out of nowhere, make it to the playoffs, but then you had the Scuba Grand Slam that ended that run.
Yep.
And then you had the Lions picked up and damn near was the best team in the league and then laid the egg against Washington.
Yep.
And then
those games felt very familiar, by the way. I was at both the Commanders game and the Game 7 against Cleveland. Very, very familiar feelings at both games.
And then that's not including the fact that this whole 3-year run kind of started with the 27-game losing streak.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was a dark point as well. And then going into 2025, the Pistons came back up. They were doing better. And then the Tigers looked like they were rolling. And then I'm not even going to mention it. We just going to walk past the ALDS. And then the Lions had their disappointing season that didn't feel the same. But so I think overall it's just a lot of the same feelings from all of the teams that we're getting, and it's just being exemplified right now.
Sure.
So, and then I don't know if y'all had, because I'm kind of back and forth between the show and trying to stay up on the OKC San Antonio game.
Yeah.
When it comes to who's to blame, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think it's you can. From on the floor to the sideline to the front office, I think there's blame to be had on all three levels.
I concur.
And I just want to mention our good friend Ty in the chat. He's mentioned coaching. Oftentimes, the rotations made no sense at all. And I just want to go back to what y'all were saying at the beginning of the season. One of y'all biggest worries was what JB would do with the rotations.
Yes.
And I think that through this playoff run, even though what he did was something that you probably asked for in the beginning of the year, because I know at the beginning of the year you did say that you would like to see Jalen Duren play 40 minutes, and he wasn't playing 40 minutes, but JB was keeping him in the game, and it was to the detriment of the team.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the things I wanted to mention, because I had went back and saw what we was talking about at the beginning of the year, because I just wanted to make sure, I just wanted to have a comparison of what we were feeling at the beginning of the year compared to what we feeling now. And if taking out how the season unfolded,
Sure,
just to see if the ultimate result matched the expectations going into the year.
I can co-sign that. I didn't get to the who's to blame. I forgot
Yeah,
about
go
that.
ahead.
My bad. And to piggyback off Neff a little bit, yeah, I think it's a collective.
of course, yeah.
You know, Trajan Langdon, again, if he had the foresight, which I believe he did, to say, you know what, the record is good, but, you know, maybe we're not quite as good as the record. If he knew that truly,
Sure.
and he knew that we could possibly be in a position where this could be exposed, unless he wanted that exposure to happen to set a new baseline. You get what I'm saying? Unless he did that to set a new baseline,
Yeah,
then he's got to hold that. I don't know. I've never had a
I'm
conversation with him.
diametrically opposed to that
Right.
approach.
I mean, I get
The
it.
future is now. You
I
know what I'm
get-
saying? Like,
hey, listen.
But I concur that I you know, it's not off the table that he was thinking that
Right.
way.
I mean, I'm trying here.
Yeah. No,
So,
but you're not wrong. You it's not off the table that he was taking that approach.
So, you know, so there's that. And then you have to, again, with the coaching. I mean, it was a lot of head scratching rotation decisions that I mean to go around in both series.
Oh, I got that in my notes.
You know, in both series. And then, you know, there is as much as we quote unquote glaze him, you know, Cade, the turnovers, you know, probably could have shortened some series.
I mean,
You know, if we kind of kept the turnovers down. But again, there's something that plays into that, but yet and still.
he had 80
Yeah, man.
turnovers in 14 games. That's
man.
that's not acceptable.
It's not championship
yeah,
basketball.
you can't
But-
do that. But
but-
he's young too. I mean, he's
it's-
getting his experience as well. You
But
know,
it's
he's
plenty-
got to get the same grace
But you
as
know, it's
everybody
plenty
else.
it's plenty of blame to go around.
Of course.
I believe we talked in the first round. We weren't going to be a championship level team shooting in the mid 70s from the free throw line. It's
Nope.
not going to happen. Ain't
Nope.
going to do it.
Got to be better than that. Yep.
We can't get destroyed on the offensive glass the way we were routinely being beat on the offensive glass throughout the playoffs. So I mean, you know, again, it was a lot of things. And then lastly, us the fans. We were playing with a lot of house money for a lot of the season.
Yep.
And, you know, it's almost kind of like investing in like the crypto market. Like it's there on the screen, but until it's in your account, it ain't really yours.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, we were a contender, the 40-20, the 60-20 thing.
Sure.
We hit all of those metrics, but when it came time to make that withdrawal,
Yeah.
you know, it was some issues. So, I mean, I think it was a collective thing when it comes to the blame. But I think the good thing about it, all the pieces that remain, I think, once all of this is done, you know, they're all fixable.
Sure.
I think these are all fixable problems. We have a good cap situation,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
you know, which is good. So far we've been more or less fortunate with the injuries in terms of even with the ones Cade's had, he's been able to come back
Sure.
better.
Yep.
So that's good. Even all the shit we've been giving Jalen Duren for the last 3 weeks, yet and still he's made improvements as a player.
Sure.
So I mean, like I said, these are all good things. And again, JB, we've had his issues with him. He's shown that players can get better under him. So that's a good thing, but that also forces me to expect more of him with the actual uber talented players that we have.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you can squeeze all of that out of Dennis Jenkins and Javonte Green and Paul Reed, I need Asar Thompson to at least be comparable to Charles Oakley shooting on the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like he has to be able to, when that ball swings there, if he attempts a shot fake, the defender has to respect it, and then he can play into his strength, which is attacking the rim. Often. Like this has to happen.
Yeah.
I think Jeff Teague said it after Game 7. I think he said it best. If either of the Thompson twins could be 35% 3-point shooters, they're making 9 figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Easy.
And to your point, Lance, like, yes, this is a fixable thing, and when we get to, I guess, the offseason preview of what we expect to later, we get more into it. Yes, it's fixable, but I also think that it is a piss or get off the pot
For
situation because we have the cap room, but we in a position where we're going to have to decide if we want them around for the long run, right, or not. And people going to have to figure out, like, what their role is going to be, what they're going to bring to the team. And if it's, at the end of the day, as much as we love how the team is currently constructed, we have to figure out those pieces.
Some decisions got to be made
that lift us to the next level.
Yep. So, from my perspective, obviously, I echo a lot of what y'all have already said. Game 7 was obviously a collective dud from both the players and the coaches. I do believe fatigue was a factor. You kind of mentioned that about Cade. I also believe that strategically we were flawed in some ways throughout the entire playoffs. We are a defensive team. When we start sacrificing Ron Holland's minutes in favor of Karis LeVert, you concede some of your identity. Cleveland is an offensive team. Even when they went down 2-0, they didn't say, we're going to sacrifice Max Strus's minutes for Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis is a defensive stopper, but defense isn't Cleveland's identity.
Nope.
They're an offensive team. Kenny Atkinson is an offensive coach. And also, again, while Jalen Duren did not have a good playoff run, and we fully expressed our disappointment with his performance, in this series, every single time Jalen Duren got a duck in, he scored. That's not hyperbole. His field goal percentage on duck ends in the series was 100%. But for some reason, we couldn't replicate that action that allowed him to get that. We could not manufacture that over and over again. And again, that doesn't excuse his lack of effort in other areas. We talked about the rebounding. As Charles Barkley put it, having 2 more rebounds than a dead person is not acceptable when you're the biggest man on the floor. But it does accentuate the fact that the offensive sets were too helter-skelter. They were inconsistent and unimaginative. We run high screen and roll and flare shooters to the corners about half the time. There's 30 teams in the league that do that. It's the easiest offensive set to defend in the NBA currently. Everybody does it. And then we run some cross-screen action at the top of the key. We run dribble handoffs with Jalen Duren, and we might set an occasional flare screen. And while I, like every other Pistons fan, I was frustrated with Cade's turnovers. When you run the same offensive sets over and over and over again, it becomes predictable for the defender to jump the passing lane, especially when you make the same diagonal pass every time. And I understand that JB is a defensive head coach, but reimagining our offensive concepts, in my opinion, is just as important as upgrading the personnel. And again, the coaching shoulders some blame. The players obviously take some of the blame because nobody played well enough of the time, particularly in Game 7. Nobody played well in Game 7. That was just horrible. And, of course, as upset as I am about the way that the season ended, I agree with the both of you. I mean, it has to be viewed as a success. I believe that we were statistically the youngest 60-win team in the history of the NBA. And the NBA has always been an incremental league. The bad boy Pistons got knocked out of the playoffs in the first round in 84 and 86 before making the conference finals in 87. And then the finals in 88. Of course, they finally won in 89 and 90. Jordan famously was knocked out of the first round 3 times, being swept by the eventual champion Celtics in 86 and the defending champion Celtics in 87 before finally advancing in 88. and then making the conference finals in 89 and 90. And, of course, he three-peated in 91, 92, and 93. Shaq and Kobe, they got knocked out in the semifinals in 97. They lost in the conference finals in 98, and they got swept by the Spurs in 99 in the semifinals. Then they finally three-peated in 2000, 2001, and 2002. Seldomly do you skip steps in this league, and disappointment is sort of a part of the process. Our core is full of early 20-somethings, and truthfully, they just wasn't ready to win yet, and probably wouldn't have been even if the proper acquisition was made at the deadline. Mm-hmm. Now, getting over the hump is hard, and winning should come at a cost. That doesn't make this sting any less, though. But it does contextualize the work that it takes to become a winner. Cade is our centerpiece, and nothing is impossible, but you'd have to go back to before the merger to find a 24-year-old centerpiece and his 22-year-old sidekick winning a championship. It would have been an epic achievement, but in reality, we need a more explosive wing scorer. We need better offensive concepts. We need additional player development. We need some upgrades in the offensive coaching staff, if I may be so bold. And most importantly, we needed this. We needed an ass kicking on our home floor in a Game 7.
Expose it.
Getting embarrassed. We needed the whole organization and the whole world to see that. And it should motivate each coach, each player, each executive to get better, to do better, to innovate, to make upgrades, and to confront the deficiencies with lucidness and resolve. Highly motivated people are easily depressed because they find it difficult to feel satisfied. I hope this satisfaction permeates the organization this offseason. I hope there are sleepless nights, missed meals, innumerable breakout sessions, endless brainstorming, and a lot of soul searching, because that's the only way to get better, the only way to outperform the competition. Let's get into the offseason preview.
Before we do that, I got
ahead,
one
Nep.
question.
Yep.
If he didn't go full Gen Y Detroiter, if Malik Beasley was on this team, are we still playing right now?
Yes. I don't even have to think about it. And you know what? Let me say something about that too, because I was going to say Malik Beasley for another time, man. But let me say this, man. If Malik Beasley's only crime is being disorganized and bad with money, that's a real shame that they still in, years of this kid's career for that.
I don't know.
If he's eventually cleared and found to have done nothing wrong, man, somebody should be sued because it's costing them millions of dollars.
Man, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
You can't let the fiasco that's been going on out here in L.A. with Kawhi Ballmer and his daddy and this madness goes on. And then this guy who was cleared by the feds by all accounts and purposes. I mean, like, is playing in Puerto Rico or somewhere like that. Man, cut the jokes, man.
I'm like, if this kid is really just guilty, again, basically just being bad with money. Yeah.
Charge him.
I'm like, if you're really costing him years of his career, a career where he could be making millions of dollars, and unfortunately a career that is not, you don't get it's not a career where you can play for 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a career that's finite.
Yeah.
You only get a certain number of years to do it. And again, I know that he owed a lot of people money. He apparently was real bad with money. He borrowed money from a lot of people.
God, yeah.
But I mean, if that's his only crime,
he make a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of people that are bad with money. So I'm like, but I digress.
Man, he ain't the first rich nigga with bad spending habits. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Malik would have kept the floor spread. He would have vastly improved our 3-point shooting. I mean, he was second and made threes last season. So, yes, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he would have definitely upgraded our bench play.
Bro, all we had to do was, call a timeout in, Game 3 when Cade just had the succession of 3 turnovers and we win Game 3. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, absolutely. Just for the simple fact that Malik Beasley, hell, if we'd have just took a couple of more Gatorade breaks, I think we'd have won this damn series.
No doubt.
But, yeah, Malik Beasley's a difference maker because he is incrementally a better defender than Duncan Robinson, who play well for
And
us
Karis
this series.
LeVert.
Oh man, don't even. Man, nigga gonna make me hate Gerald LeVert in a minute. God rest his soul.
Yeah, man. Don't.
Grew
Don't.
my beard out because of Gerald LeVert. But I swear to God, Karis is making me think about shaving. Shit.
Don't do Gerald, man. Don't triangulate Gerald, man. We love you, Gerald.